Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slinky. Happy to have in studio Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to talk with you here as we're getting ready to head over the river through the woods. Grandmother's house. It's going to be really wet on Thursday. I'm looking at 1.25 inches of rain just on Thursday. Emphasis patrols, more people on the roads. Do the sheriff's office out there?
Thank goodness we're not in the greater King County metropolitan Tacoma area, but it's predicting this year there's going to be up to record number of people traveling again over the weekend, and those that are leaving town and venturing out onto I-5 and those things. I'm sure it's going to be a dangerous proposition out there, and there'll be a lot of troopers out in that area working. For here, we still have a lot of movement in and out of the county. We don't have any more people to put on than we normally do. It'll be the same amount of people, but the holidays bring with it their own unique set of circumstances. Family issues and everything else as we go into these,
of course,
November, December, pretty dangerous months.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about a story that we're airing this morning on iFiber One News Radio. Jeff Chu was able to kind of get over by the old PUD3 building across the street from us here and see a little bit what the K9 unit does for Mason County Sheriffs. And it's a pretty amazing deal that they do, learning a little bit about it. There's no line item in the budget. It's all funded by folks, and this is a big service that helps out the community.
Yes, the K9 thing is something that we worked really hard on. When I came from another county, we were using the other county's dogs here continuously to the point where that county was getting to the point where it was probably providing this county with all the services. So when I came over here, we set up a program to try to put together a goal of having a canine operations program, and those funds are raised through private donations, public and private donations that come into us that fund that program. And we're one of the only places that works with that in our budget, is that we have to fund those out of what we come in from community. And so they're a unique group, and their training is extensive. And it's amazing to watch how bright those dogs are. They're really something.
Well, a big accolade to the K9 unit is Kona Wright is on the cover of that calendar for 2016 or 2017. It's a worldwide calendar, and looking good there. I like it.
Yeah, it's neat. We've been on a couple of those calendars, so that's a neat one this year. With I think it's Maki, isn't it?
Well, I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah, Kona was our dog that's retired.
Oh, that's right. Then that would make sense. Sheriff Boyer was recently inducted into, and you got a chance to talk with the sheriffs and police chiefs about Sheriff Boyer from Kitsap County. What did you guys talk about?
Well, when Sheriff Boyer retired, there's a way that you get nominated into the lifetime membership of the Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Association, and so when Sheriff Boyer retired, I looked at his number of years of service and what he'd done over the years in his 43-year law enforcement career with both the Washington State Patrol and then 16 years as sheriff, and so I nominated him for that position, and so. His nomination was accepted, and so basically what I did was read the nomination, and Sheriff Boyer was at the conference this year and received that recognition for the lifetime membership, and just a super individual. I think Steve put in all his time with Washington State Patrol and retired there as a lieutenant. Was known for his humor and the way he got along with people, and then when he became sheriff, did 16 more years after that as sheriff of Kitsap County, and served in many different organizations. And he's been enjoying his vacation time, but we're going to miss him greatly. And as I mentioned in there at the end of the presentation, it was that Steve Boyer was one of those kind of guys that we probably need more now in policing than ever. He was just a tremendous public servant and a wonderful guy for our communities, bringing communities together. So we're going to miss him greatly.
Let's talk about, we have talked off air, a little bit on air about some of the things that you guys are moving towards policing in the 21st century. I know it's a kind of a list of things that you're starting to and have been working on. What are some things, and what is this policing in the 21st century?
21st century policing was brought in by executive order, establishing a task force by the federal government and experts in law enforcement, civil rights, and civil liberties from both private and public entities to form what they call 6 pillars of justice to help bring communities and law enforcement together, and what types of things that can be done together on working towards common problems and solving things in our communities. And so that was set by the president at that time, which resulted in the term 21st century policing. In the state of Washington, last year, we looked at that, and when I was president of the association, we got together with our group and said we're going to adopt those principles and for the state of Washington and get them into the hands of all of our membership. And so we got started on that, and Chief Ed Holm from Mercer Island PD and myself were nominated to be the co-chairs of the Public Trust Committee. A lot of it's because we're from two very differing communities. Between Mercer Island and Mason County. There's a big difference, and the work that Ed and I have done different things in the community over the years that actually filling in a lot of these areas that we've already filled in. And that's what I'm thrilled with in Mason County is when you look through the pillars of justice that were set forth, many of those areas we had already had stuff done in and we're working towards, and they're trying to bring those into other communities. And so it's kind of a guideline or a framework to look at as you move forward in policing in the state of Washington. And so it was adopted by the Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Board of Directors this last weekend, and it will be out there for all the chiefs and sheriffs to look through and get ideas on. You see something neat that somebody's doing in their community, and that's one of the things, you'll share that out, and other people will take a look at that and say, well, that's something that we could do, what would fit in our community. So over this next year, for our community, what I'm hoping is, I do that law enforcement breakfast. And there are a number of people listed that are speakers on areas of diversity or people from that speak on different type of cultural issues in communities. And we're going to try to bring those people in to speak in our area. And I've been asked, said, well, we don't necessarily aren't that as diverse here, and so we might not have that population of people here. But the thing that I keep reminding people is people pass through our community all the time. People here are vacations during the summer, so we are reached by all different types of people. So we're going to be bringing in that training and using that format that I've had for the last 9 years, and do that for our 6-county region, so that we're all sharing in that the Region 3 sheriffs.
I just was thinking, and you mentioned it with the Mercer Island Sheriff there, and I know that you guys do ride-alongs with citizens. Citizens do ride-alongs. Do other officers ride along with other officers in different counties to get a sense of their citizenry?
Yes, and then some people have worked in other agencies, and
I guess that's too, yeah.
Like I worked in Ellensburg for a while, and just recently, a great experience. We had Sergeant Winecoop in. Well, one morning we were at a meeting, and the rest of the people didn't show up, so I jumped in and rode the state trooper, and we went out and did. It's similar but different. The types of contacts and things are different, but I think you really see a difference when you work from the large cities to a rural county. Where Ty was listening today as a result of the incidents that happened overnight in the last couple of days of agencies saying, well, now they're going to go to 2-person cars all the time for safety. Well, we don't have that option, and so our people are always on their own, and so in a very rural environment and way out. And so when folks normally work in the city get way out in the county and there's no street lights, it's very different for them too to come out in a very rural county as it is for us to go in and work in a city where you're being people all the time, 24/7 if you're working in one of the metropolitan areas.
Sure.
So yeah, it's very different.
I can imagine how different it is. Back on this policing, 21st century policing, are these tenets that other businesses could take? Does it have to be law enforcement?
No, absolutely. I think a lot of it is. I just looked down. I'll look down on the building trust, public trust, and legitimacy, cultural transparency and accountability. Is one, and workforce diversity, community, involving your community into your business or your area. Like I told you, we brought people in for our sergeant's exam and allowed them to be part of our process in there, both as role players within the circumstances that have to be solved, and evaluators sitting there watching. And I brought up again last week, I had to repeat the same thing, but we had people from our school districts and outside sit and interview our candidates for our school resource officer position. So they had input into maybe the type of person or the kind of things that we're doing to bring those people into the schools. And that's what they're talking about, is kind of integrating back and forth. And I'm sure that there's things that we can learn, that we go to private business all the time and watch what private businesses are doing.
Very good. Well, I'll let you go. Wish you a happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk in a week or so here as we move ahead. And Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury, I love talking with you here every week.
Thank you so much,
Happy
Jeff.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Do you know you have access to the fastest internet in Washington State? Switch to iFiber Communications right now and take advantage of our special offers. Pay only $29.95 for 100 megabit high-speed internet, or get 3 months of internet absolutely free. That's right, $29.95 for 100 megabit speeds or 3 months of internet free. Shop, stream, and game like never before with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Call 360-427-4000 or check us online at ifiber.tv. Subject to credit approval, valid on a 24-month contract.